travelers and adventurers alike. Welcome to the first ever episode of Diamond in the Rough, the bi-monthly special with just the boys from Weebspace, aka Any Chat Box. You may be asking yourself, first and foremost, where are the girls this time, this lovely evening? But, just you wait, baby birds, just you wait. They got something in the pipeline in the future. But you may be asking yourself as well, what is Diamond in the Rough? Well, me and my gentleman scholar, Jonathan Joestar.
Hello?
Say hello, Jonathan.
Hello there.
Yes. All right. What we planned to do was try and find underrated, low-key anime that, according to the grand scheme of popularity votes on my anime list, we tried to find the low-rated anime and or underrated cult classics that didn't get the line, that didn't hit mainstream, as it were, that weren't in the limelight.
The overlooked gems that may have been lost to time.
Yeah, right? So, before we actually start off with our great kickoff show, let me hit you with some social links. As always, you can hit us up on our Twitter, twitter.com/TheAnyChatBox, if you want to hit us up with any suggestions. Quick form, we post updates about our episodes, statuses, if there's any tech difficulties, what have you. If you want more availability when it comes to actually messaging, you can hit us up on our email, anychatmail@gmail.com. Again, that is anychatmail@gmail.com. And if you want to donate any hot muns our way to, just as a way to support us here, the boys and the ladies of Any Chat Box, hit us up on our Patreon, patreon.com/TheAnyChatBox. Also, it goes without saying, you're listening to this, you can hear this on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, where audio podcasts are available, as well as YouTube. YouTube, we don't have a formal link to YouTube. It's just a series of things, but we will post it regardless on our social media.
You can still search for the Any Chat Box on YouTube, and you should be able to find us that way. It seems to be working thus far.
Right on. John, first and foremost, I want to ask, how are you doing? As a whole, how's your day been? I want to get a feel for the room before we dive in.
My day's been pretty fine for the most part. I've been kind of getting so hyped over My Hero Academia that I decided to try and find the manga, and I've been slowly but surely catching up on that. As well as, I've also supposed to have been editing as well at the same time, so, yeah.
Sounds like you're a busy man. Sounds like you're a very busy man with hobbies.
I'm a procrastinating man.
It's okay. You can make the deadline. As for me, I am not in any competition. I tried to start reading Attack on Titan since that show just recently wrapped up. So that's an interesting transition from trying to watch that with its beautiful animation to going back to the sketchy, hard lines of the manga. So, admittedly, I kind of prefer the animation. I like to see action and fluid animation, see my action and the drama of it animated, but that's kind of like a discussion outside of the scope that we are discussing.
Yeah,
we're here to find...
on the subject of comparing the animation to the source material, I was actually quite blown away to see, comparing My Hero Academia between the anime and the source manga, and how close they are together. So, or at least the second season, anyway.
Did you just start off from where they are currently in the anime, or did you start from scratch?
I started from scratch because I figured that there might be stuff left out, or at least there's bits between chapters where he's like, by the way, here's these little tidbits about these characters, which I'm finding really interesting. So,
nice. Well, unlike superheroes, we have to go and find our great treasure of anime. Today, John has picked this one. We'll trade off every episode, along with hosting duties, so I will find the next show for us to dissect, and John will present it to the class. First show on the docket is Tenkuu Danzai Skelter+Heaven, otherwise known as Skelter+Heaven. It should be noted, right off the bat, that this lovely gem was produced by Idea Factory. There is no animation studio behind this. Idea Factory being the people that brought you the, or rather the producers of the Neptunia games.
Nobody wants to take credit for this series. Nobody,
right?
Or rather, nobody wants to be held with the burden of responsibility of this being on their record.
It's funny because along with this title, they also were responsible for Generation of Chaos and Mars of Destruction. I've heard great things about this. All helmed by the director Yoshiteru Sato. So this man, around the period of 2002 to 2004, this man was responsible for just the greatest anime that anyone has ever seen. Let me regale you a story of this. In the distant future, a mysterious floating object appears suddenly in the center of a city. What city? We don't know. The top secret mission unit, Altamira Agency, or AA, is commissioned by the Defense Agency to deal with this mysterious invader. In charge of the robot training is Hunangai Otsuya. He must choose one of the girls to receive special training, which she will receive in secret. They must use the battle souls to push back the enemy, even at the cost of their lives. I don't think I said this, but it should be noted that this is also, I don't know if this is a interstitial or like a one-off of kind of like Dot Hack with its animes. I don't know if it's based on a game that was only released in Japan. Again, Skelter+Heaven.
Yeah,
so
it kind of felt like this was supposed to be like a promotional video for the
actual game,
and yeah.
And so we're gonna try and I approached you before we started recording how we should approach this. Should we talk structure as the typical series, or should we talk spoilers? Here's your little sum up. It's only a one OVA, 20 minutes, so really just to talk about this one episode, we kind of would allude to what happens in it. And oh boy, Craig was lost in this, in a sea of confusion and characters I didn't understand the motivations of. I got Rin, your female lead, and I got the commander,
and the I've already forgotten her name. The one girl. I
watched this yesterday, and you literally just got done watching this.
I just got done watching this. It began with a H. Hang on, give me a moment. I'll find it.
Is it the blonde?
The blonde girl who, for some reason, seems to have something against.
She was jealous.
Is super jealous.
She was jealous. Yeah, she said she was the top of her class, although we didn't see that.
All we ever saw of her was a little flashback for no fucking reason of her being bounced up and down in this torture device like chair.
Yep.
Why?
It's like one of those. What? It's like one of those suspended animation chairs where it just drops suddenly and then it goes back up and then drops, kind of like what you see at amusement parks.
Yeah, it just does that. Even not very high, but just enough.
Yeah.
They're all just like, why are you doing this to this poor girl?
But it's also, so to sum up the plot as a whole, like this thing said. An alien comes in. It looks like a squid.
It looks like
a very poor CG squid, and then immediately I'm thinking of a much better show, which I recommend, Neon Genesis Evangelion, for the fact that the command center with a guy with shades says, "Oh, we need to assemble the team," and I'm thinking, "Oh man, so we're gonna have some pilots here. We're gonna have like cool like motivations as to the characters." Nope, it's just hard cut to flash to hard cut to present, and they fight the thing, and oh man, the CG, it looks worse than a Transformers Beast Wars or something like that. And since this was a 2004 production, I really don't know how harsh I should be on this, but at the same time, this is
it's CG
companion piece.
It's CG that really has not aged well.
No, very much not. And it's interesting because, like I said, it's a companion piece to the PlayStation 2 game that only came out in Japan, so I'm wondering, how well did this game do in Japan? I don't know on this one because I couldn't find anything to figure that out either.
I found an IGN page for the game, and it got a 9.1 community rating, and then I realized that's out of 2 ratings. So,
man, those people wanted to see them ladies kicking ass and taking names against the giant squids.
Yeah, this is that was the English language page for it. So I still don't know how well it did in Japan. So,
John, so obviously, besides Rin and the Commander and the Blonde, none of the other characters stood out. And which is a poor sign for the storytelling.
Yeah, apparently there's like 5. Yeah, 5
the
girls.
5 females.
There's 5 girls in this series, and one got smacked out the air.
Yeah.
I think another was in a similar chair to the blonde girl.
Yeah.
And the other one, she wrestled with the blonde girl at the start for some reason.
In her mech. And it was in mud wrestling. I don't know why that was the thing. And then they complained about getting dirty,
so they had to have a shower before they launched in their mechs. And then the flashback to the torture device like thing. And this episode is 20 minutes long. And we're about the halfway point, and nothing has happened.
No. Now, did you actually look at the time code down there to question?
I was checking the time code every so often. Like, is this? Are we really?
Is it over yet?
It
It
starts off with a long, drawn out zoom in to the Earth. Not very well done.
With heartbeats.
Not well done. Drawn out zoom into the Earth, and you've got these horridly done. The sound effects in this series sound like they were bought off of some cheap, shady website.
Some free to use website where it's obviously just like I don't know their budget constraints for this show, but good lord, it looked pretty constrained when it came to its production value. It's the opening. Obviously, it looked like something straight out of the video game it's adapted from, but man, the background noises, the sound effects for the control room, like the Ava-esque control room with Gendo and all them, sounded like really loud. And the news report at the beginning and the ending of the episode was so loud, I had to turn down my volume because it sounded like they pitched it up like a couple decibels.
Oh, and in case you didn't catch what we said the first time with with our news report, here, let us repeat it again, and then we're gonna repeat the entire news report all over again immediately afterwards.
So obviously, production, characters, music was non-existent.
I was just sitting here like, this is 20 minutes and you've spent way too much time on this first section up until this news report. I mean, God.
Yeah, the news report in the opening at least took like a fourth of the episode, and then jump cut, and then battle, and then end.
And then finally we launched into it, and then mid battle we have another flashback to reveal that the girls are actually artificial beings.
Yep, that was
that
something.
Don't even know how long they have to live.
Yep. When Rin asks about
it, he just
goes to Commander.
We don't know. Fuck it. You're out.
We don't know. We're researching it,
and you're our research data. So we'll know when you die.
AKA kids.
And
it's essentially he says, I'll tell you when you're older, like tomorrow. And then it jump cuts back again to the battle, and then Rin has a heart to heart
because he almost goes in suicidal. So
yeah,
Rin confesses to him out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then,
there's no character development to allude that she likes him. In fact, the commander came off as more of a dick that was leading all the girls into battle, essentially. It didn't give a shit.
Also, about the blonde. When they said Rin is going to be going to be the lead in this, and the blonde was like, but why? I am better than her.
I am better than her.
He explains to her that the reason why she's not the lead is because she goes off on her own and doesn't pay attention to everyone else. So what does she do?
She's always canon.
She goes off on her own and she decides, I'm going to prove them all wrong by doing exactly what they said I'm going to do, which is holding... the one thing they said is holding me back.
She's got to fulfill her character type. She's a brash, independent, takes no shit from no man, and she just goes head first into battle.
And then she gets smacked out of the sky.
Whether or not everyone in this OVA episode live or die is to be seen. However, so we talked about the characters and how they're flawed. We talked about the production, how it's extremely cheap and or flawed. I feel as though this may be a pack-in to the game. I can't stress that enough.
and then it ends on, by the way, more aliens.
No, you rewind it a little bit. Man, rewind it. We gotta talk about Rin having a heart-to-heart with the alien, and then the alien, the squid, essentially melting into blood. And then it flashes a year forward, and then it says, with the same news reporter saying, oh shit, guys, I think we're all doomed because there's more aliens again, and I don't know if we're gonna be able to deal with this.
Mm-hmm. And it's just...
End credits.
And end credits. With the same ending song as the intro.
John, this is an experiment, right? Whereas, like we said before, we're trying to find the cult classics, the underrated, and the shit. Have we covered everything about this show that needs to be said?
I think we have. There was something about the Gendo character deleting the file for the commanding officer dude.
See, I didn't catch that. Again, I was kind of like mentally checking out at that point, and I just was mesmerized by the CG squid and the CG robots.
But yeah, it just... It was alluding to stuff that I'm sure gets covered in the game, but without the game on its own standalone.
Nope.
This thing's a dumpster fire. It's just...
John, what did we find in our excavations? We are adventurers, we are archaeologists, men. In the deserts, we are trying to find gold. We have a map that someone shady gave us in a town, but we went for it? What did we find?
We found the spot marked X apparently, and we dug.
Yeah, we dug,
and we found something.
What did we find? What would you say we found? I can't tell if this is coal or if this is literal shit or this is just dirt. Like you dig and you don't find anything.
I can't even say it's coal because at least coal can burn and be useful. There was no value in watching this.
It's like that song, I just wasted 20 minutes of your life. Actually, I'm not sure if that's exactly. Literal dirt, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here. You heard it here.
I will say that this was the lowest rated thing on my anime list.
Do you know what it is offhand?
It was rated 0.8 or something like that off the top.
On the user census or whatever.
On the user rating on
the ratings.
My anime list. And
yeah,
it didn't even get a 1. This was the lowest rated thing on there.
You know, is a you know, this is entertaining, right? Because we kind of watched it just for shits and giggles, and we rap about this. But I don't recommend this for anyone. I don't want to acknowledge that I've watched this, except I technically have to all of you faithful listeners out there in the internal way.
We suffer so you don't have to.
We suffer for you because we don't have to. John, I recommended Neon Genesis as a better kids fighting giant extraterrestrials and or creatures that would end or float around and or destroy a city. Before we recorded, you recommended something. What did you recommend? Tell the class.
If the idea of this series appeals to you in any way, the basic concept of it being like a harem series with sexy ladies in these mech suits, where the pilot isn't actually covered at all. If that appeals to you at all, then
seems like a design flaw.
I was thinking that too. It's like the entire time I was watching it was like, this is a poorly designed mech suit for fighting these aliens.
Seriously, they could get shot and or stabbed and they would instantly die.
But yeah,
instead of having the suit to like protect them.
At least in the series I'm going to recommend, they do actually explain that no, the pilot is actually kind of pretty safe in this suit.
Okay.
But yeah, if that concept at all sounds any appealing to you, go watch Infinite Stratos. It is in itself a pretty garbage show, but there is a lot more there to actually enjoy, and I actually really enjoyed watching Infinite Stratos. I did not enjoy watching this.
Our friend of the show, Pete, also liked this show, but he likes some harem anime with dumb, and he loves mecha porn, so I feel as though that was up his alley. The same reasons why you like this as well. But I have yet to see that myself. Do we have anything else before we wrap up here?
Not that I can think of. But yeah, this is going to be a new a special that we're going to be doing every other month. And the idea is that hopefully we will find some overlooked gem that we can find some enjoyment out of. And whether you're going to listen in hopes that we do find something that is just overlooked, or you just want to listen to us suffering. Again, we suffer so that you don't have to.
Right? I like that tagline. Adventures and questing for treasure and suffering along and having mishaps along the way. we can chart the path for you so you can go and see the sites yourself. Yeah. We discovered these locations.
We'll mark off the paths that are just dead ends or dangerous, treacherous ways, and so you can find the correct path to the good treasure, so to speak. Yeah. But yeah, if you like this, let us know. If there's anything you feel like we can do better, let us know. Just, yeah, hit us up. We've got plenty of ways that you can contact us.
Yep, for sure.
We
socials, email, all that.
We do read any and all comments we get. Yeah, so
be our guidepost in the future. We went to, as I said before, we went to a town, an outpost, and then we found a shady guy just kind of like nonchalantly just slipped us a piece of a map in our travel pouches, and we opened it up and we saw the X, and we just were curious, and it seems as though we were able to find something, but man, was it treacherous getting there. It was like a real live adventure. We had to fight shit, and I would make comparisons to like The Mummy with Brendan Fraser here, but I don't want to get a coffee stroke. So I think that about does it for Diamond in the Rough episode 1. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, gentleman Joestar, for tagging along on this misadventure.
And thank you, Craig.
Right on. Alrighty, until next time, weary travelers, travel safe.
Bye-bye.
Peace.